You know, one of the things that's ruining wrestling is this part-time wrestling role that the wrestlers seems to be having, especially when you get a title. I think now we need to start calling people that win championships PTO members, because once you win the title, any title, with the exception of the women's mid-card titles, you seem to get PTO. By the way, for anybody new, hey, I'm Wiser. And here on this channel, we talk wrestling. Sometimes, now we are introducing streaming after dark, which, we have all types of topics, but that's for another day. Here in videos, we talk wrestling. If that's your forte, get familiar with the channel, subscribe if you like. And as for my returning members, drop a like in the comment. Hopefully I earn your comment, because I do want your thoughts on this one. This is one that's just been bothering me for the longest, and it was kind of introduced with Brock Lesnar. Now, with Brock Lesnar, this was more of a contractual thing with Vince McMahon. Brock isn't one that really likes to be around people. Brock wanted to wrestle when Brock wanted to wrestle. Now, Brock was also a huge main attraction, so we preserved Brock, and that's fine. He earned what it was that he got. What was the trickle-down effect? Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was a guy who was on TV every week, wrestled all the time. That leukemia hit, he took a break, he came back, he wrestled. That COVID hit, he took a break, he came back as your tribal chief. And with the health scare, the whole thing with Roman Reigns is understanding. Now, did it start to weigh on us as viewers? Absolutely. It was kind of annoying that it's like we're getting this good thing, but we can't have this good thing all the time. And that sucked. We all know how it felt. We all know that felt like it sucked. But it aided in helping Roman Reigns become an attraction. The less we saw of him, the more important he was when he returned. But I think that this started a really bad trajectory on how WWE books their champions, and damn near everybody else, but more so their champions. By the way, is it just me? And I need to make this video also when I talk about Gunther, but is it just me, or does WWE top to bottom just feel like a mid-card company? Am I bugging on this? Like, it feels like everybody in WWE is mid-card, like all of the full-time guys. I don't know, but we're going to talk about that again another day. So from Roman Reigns, we got Cody Rhodes, the guy who was supposed to bring the title back to the wrestling fans, the guy who was supposed to win the title and be a fighting champion. That's what it was that he promised, right? Well, from there, because we could also juxtapose what was going on with Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins was wrestling and defending that title every week, it seemed. It was ridiculous. It was like we were getting oversaturated with Seth Rollins matches. I know. Wrestling fans, you can't please them all. There's no one formula on how to please a wrestling fans. The same things that we want, it's the same things that we don't want. The same things that we don't want is the same things that we want. And that was the example I just gave. Roman Reigns, champion, not always wrestling. Seth Rollins, champion, always wrestling. You can't have them both. Where's the happy medium? I would like to see my champion wrestle at least bi-weekly. I would hope more so 3 times a month, and defend the title at least twice a month. I don't want to get to that 30-day reign where, you remember, if you don't defend your title within 30 days, you got to give it up. I don't want to start teetering on that. I would like to see more defenses. So Cody won the title, fighting champion, but he didn't have as many defenses as expected from our fighting champion. When he said he was going to be a fighting champion, my expectations was that he would be a Seth Rollins light. Now, if Seth Rollins is wrestling 4 times a month and defending his title 3 times a month, I would expect Cody to give me that 3 and 2 that I wanted. Give me the 3 and 2. But no. Cody didn't give us that. And I'm not putting this on Cody. I'm putting this on you know who. Booking and creative. But here's where the trickle down effect started. Because at the same time, we had Goon rising up the ranks to take the main title. Now, when Goon was on his legendary 666 Mark of the Beast day reign as Intercontinental Champion, before he went on that nice little run, I want to say about 2 to 3 months before WrestleMania, he wasn't really defending the title. He was barely wrestling. So now when we do put the main title on him, or the quasi main title onto Goon, well, he's still not wrestling. Well, that's weird. Why isn't anybody wrestling? Why does no one want to wrestle? Then we had our IC champion. Who was our IC champion at that time last year? Sami Zayn. He dropped it to Braun Breaker. From Braun Breaker to Jey Uso. Jey Uso back to Braun Breaker. And I think that title within that year was defended maybe a total of 4 times. Braun Breaker was always teetering on that 30-day rule. He was always right there. He would wrestle once a month. Okay. All right, cool. Let's look at the US Championship title. I believe that flip-flop between LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura, who never defended it, and I think he was champion for about 2 months. LA Knight, I believe he was defending it, and I don't remember who else was the IC champion. Who else was IC champion? I don't remember. It's not important. The thing is, when you become a champion, you don't defend the title. Look at the tag titles now. Look at New Day. They're not defending the titles. Again, not on them. We got to look at booking and creative. But I want to shoot them some bail. I want to shoot them some bail as to why it's possible that they could not be wrestling as often. The bump card is a serious thing. And in order to preserve our wrestlers so that we can have them longer term, we can't have them running up their bump card. Everybody has a special number on their bump card where they got to hang it up. And the more we can delay getting to that number, the longer we can have our wrestlers, right? So it makes sense. That right is so nefarious. So it makes sense that we don't have them wrestle too much. But I just find it weird that it always happens when someone wins a title. I remember when Dom won the title and he wasn't defending it, Adam Pearce came to him and talked to him about him not defending his title. He said, hey, I'm the IC champion. I don't have to wrestle anymore. Like, he was thoroughly confused with Adam Pearce as to why Adam Pearce is trying to get him to wrestle. Dude, I'm champion. I don't wrestle. He get the jokes. He understands. He completely understands the assignment. And that to me was so funny because now it's like a running theme. So, okay, cool. So we don't want to run up the bump card. I got it. Great. Most of our champions are old as dirt. Cool. Got it. Great. Most of the people on the main roster is old as dirt, but I digress on that. So here's what happens with these guys that don't want to run up their bump card, and we're preserving our wrestlers. These same wrestlers go on to do other things. See, we could have gotten more out of Roman, and now that we need Roman the most because the product is absolutely garbage, Roman is going on to do other things. And this is something that happens in the wrestling business. People get to their peak and go and do something else, or they get to their peak and fall flat on their face and no one cares anymore. No one wants to watch them anymore. They're getting booed off of TV now. And then they go and do something else. We've bastardized them by not having them wrestle so much to the point that now when they are there, they just won't matter as much. These people should be stars, and the only way that you could become a star is by having memorable moments. You have memorable moments by wrestling in the ring. How many memorable moments can we get from a PLE that has 4 to 5 matches as if it's black and gold NXT? Black and Gold NXT was giving us 4 to 5 pay-per-view matches in 2-hour spans. Now we have the main roster with Triple H running things, booking and creative, and the shows are 3 hours, could go 3 hours plus, and we're getting the same 4, maybe 5 matches. Again, I get it. You want to preserve people, but at what point we can use some other people? I keep saying this, but we can use the Street Profits as tag team champions on these shows. We can use New Day as champions on these shows. Why don't we want these guys to wrestle? These people became wrestlers not to sit on their ass. They also understand, hey, back to that bump card, they understand the risks that come along with being a wrestler. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna have surgeries. You're gonna get banged up. Risk versus reward. They get it. They understand. And if it becomes too much, then they could take a hiatus. But damn, can we see them? Can we see him work? Is that too much to ask for? This part-time wrestling shit is an absolute joke. No memories are being created. Nobody is growing up in this era of wrestling, and I'm talking about fans. Nobody's growing up like, man, you remember this match, you remember this match, remember this thing that happened, and this, pardon me, you remember this thing that happened, and man, I remember when this moment. Where's the moments? There are none, because people aren't doing anything. It's promo. Here's a match, promo. Bro, we not sitting here remembering promos. We don't care that much. If I want to introduce a new fan to wrestling, I say, hey, let me show you this night of Raw, or let me show you this night of SmackDown. And it's going to be all of about 3 matches and 14 promo segments. Bro, they're not going to remember that shit. Give us a match. Get your ass in the ring and work. Every week, Cody's coming out with a suit. I don't even think he remembers what his wrestling gear looks like. Sorry, Cody's not champion. I apologize. CM Punk. There we go. CM Punk. He doesn't remember what his wrestling gear looks like. Why? Because CM Punk wrestles maybe 2 times in 2 months. Like, he doesn't. And again, it's not on him. They're preserving the bump card, and I get it. But when these people say, hey, I'm going to go and do something else, you paid all this money and got minimal returns on this. The ROI on this is not high. Maybe from selling merch and whatnot, I guess. Look, I've been yapping too much. What's your thoughts on this? I'm going to go on ahead and get up out of here. Till the next one.